Good morning. This is Brother Charles with Macedonia Baptist Church and the Word of the Day. Come across a text in my Bible study today, and it's out of Acts chapter 13 and verse 22. And it says, "And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king, to whom also he gave testimony and said, I have found David the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, which shall fulfill all my will." Now that was God's testimony of David, that he was a man after God's own heart. Now let's think about David for a minute. David was an adulterer. He committed an adulterous affair with Bathsheba, actually had a child out of wedlock. David was a murderer. He had Uriah the Hittite sent to the front lines to be murdered. David had other failures. And there were several failures in there, and I won't get into all those, but let's think about this. Why was David a man after God's own heart? How could it be that an adulterer and a murderer would still be considered a man after God's own heart? It wasn't because of his perfect righteousness that he was a man after God's own heart, for God knows that we can't be perfect. But it's because deep down inside, David, despite all his moral failures, loved God. And deep down inside, he had a heart and a desire to worship God and honor God in all that he said and done. Now, David dealt with the circumstances and the consequences of his sinful actions. He lost his first child. His kids rebelled against him, the fulfilled prophecy that God told him that your house, your family would have chaos because of what you've done. But despite that, David still followed the Lord and accepted the consequences he's had. And that's what made him a man after God's own heart. So you too can be a man or a woman after God's own heart. Because it's not based on your perfection, but it's based on your desire. To become a man or a woman after God's own heart, there needs to be a desire for God and His will for your life above all. So is God's testimony about you this: I have found David the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, which shall fulfill all my will. That's the word of the day, Acts 13 and verse 22. You have a great day.